Everybody, welcome to the July edition of the AlpaCafé. Great that you are all here again. We have some interesting topics for today. We talk about recent issues again, as always. Then we have updates on the translation languages. We got some updates on new Azure DevOps policies, also around ALGO for GitHub. In terms of repository identification and our Alpaca templates, as well as, last but not least, the NuGet package versions. Also there, some updates have happened. So yeah, stay tuned. So the goal here is to exchange with you. We want to learn from you. Like always, please give us feedback. Please give us ideas for topics and so on. Always helpful. And by the icons at the top right, starting on the next slide, you can always see which topic is connected to which platform, basically. So if a feature is available on GitHub, on DevOps, or on both, and also in which of the two extensions. So just keep an eye on the icons to make sure that you're using it in the right one.
Yeah. Hi everyone. I will talk about the recent issues and fixes. We had some issues regarding the containers. There was a problem with the SSH connection for terminal and file share. There was an issue with setting the required permissions for the SSH key in the preview extension. That is now fixed. Also, we disabled the server setting server file cache directory in the NAF service or BC service. To optimize or increase the performance at the container start. But if you still need it, you can re-enable it by setting container persistent server file cache in the Cosmo JSON in Azure DevOps. This is recommended if you have modified the base app or have many larger apps in your Cosmo JSON as artifacts, because then the container has to create the compiled assemblies each time the container starts, and if not, it is not required, but then it also does not need to create the assemblies for the standard apps, so foundation, base, and so on. For the ALGO workflow on GitHub, we added some better error handling for publishing the apps in the containers. That means we added output of each error message for each failed attempt to publish the app, though you will get the correct error messages for the first and to the fourth attempts, because they could change in between. And could give a wrong impression what the error is. And the last one is for Cosmo only. We added a fix for the search for customer assignment, where there was a problem that the search with special for customers with special characters in their names did not work correctly, and we fixed that one. You can now search for customers with special characters in their names. Yeah, that's it for the issues and fixes. And now I will talk about the translation languages based on country. It's a new feature for, as we see in the top right, for the current or default version of the extension, of Alpaca extension and Azure DevOps. What we added is a new prompt to the app creation process in the VS Code extension, where you can define the translation languages. It's a comma-separated list of languages. You see it in the screenshot at the right side. You get a proposal for the based on the selected country version. So if you select 80, you get a proposal for DE80. If you select DK, you would get a proposal for DAs minus DK, I think, and so on. You can confirm the translation languages to enable translations based on xlib sync. And but if you don't want to enable translations by default, you can press escape in this prompt and disable translations, but the process of the app creation will continue as normal. And what does it do in the end after the app process is started, or app creation is started? The process initializes the Cosmo JSON, and it now initializes this also based on this prompt and sets create translations. If you confirmed it, it's enabled. If you escaped it, cancelled it, it will be disabled. And it also sets the property translation languages based on the comma-separated input of the prompt. And you can see it at the right side in the two screenshots. The top left is enabled and the other one is disabled. And now I will give up to...
Philip, yes.
To me. Hello, everyone. I will talk about the new policies Microsoft enforced on new Azure DevOps organizations. On the next slide. So when creating a new organization on Azure DevOps, Microsoft now by default enables the policy which restricts the creation of personal access tokens by default. Alpaca heavily needs PATs on some functions or features, for example, when creating the DevOps repository or updating it, and also when creating apps, for example. So as we need the PATs from the user side, we disable this policy again when creating or initializing a new project using Alpaca. This happens additionally when, for example, disabling the public projects, which is also enabled by default, another policy by Microsoft. The next thing we made some changes to are the on GitHub, the identification of iGo repositories. So in the preview extension, in all previous versions, the list of GitHub owners only showed the current user and the organizations your user is a member of. So, for example, when working with third-party repositories, for example, repositories where you're only a collaborator, on public repositories maybe, or apps that are publicly maintained, this would require forking the repository to your own user account or to an organization you are part of. So to spare this forking requirement, we now display all repositories the user is basically has access to. So this also includes repository where the user is only a collaborator. So for example, in the screenshot in the middle, you can see in my list, I can see the Business Central apps repository on Microsoft where I'm has access to as a collaborator. So previously I had to fork that repository to create a container on it. Now I can just dive into that repository directly in Alpaca and start from there. And if you would see too many organizations or repositories in your list, you always have the option to ferret or even hide some accounts and repositories in the tree view. Next thing iGo related is the custom Alpaca template. So if you may know, we based our Alpaca template on the customization template for iGo, which has finally been completed in a pull request. This pull request was open for several months, and we integrated it from the beginning and worked actively with Microsoft together to make this ready. So now it's in iGo Public's preview, and we also switched the Alpaca PTE template to this public preview, targeting the public preview of iGo now, and it's probably going to be released with the next release wave of iGo. So then we will have a fixed version, but for now we don't have to use some customized branch in the meantime. So making big steps forward here with Algo. And with that, I think I hand back to Ole.
Yep, I will take over and talk about the NuGet package versioning. It's this spotlight is regarding GitHub and Azure DevOps, for mostly regarding containers. We optimize the download of the NuGet package artifacts at container startup. So given artifacts are no longer downloaded as dependency of other artifacts, though only once for each entry in the Cosmo or Alpaca JSON. And this also results in that the given versions of artifacts are now enforced regardless of the order of the artifacts. This increases performance. The first point increases performance, and it also increases the quality of life, because you don't have to think about which artifacts are dependent on other artifacts. I added an example. I will keep it just here, and show you the result on the right side. Before this change, we added the Cosmo factory data capture. We defined the version, and it also downloaded as a dependency the Cosmo mobile solution latest version. But we defined in the artifacts, we also defined Cosmo mobile solution itself with another version. It was still downloaded, but the higher version was always installed. So it installed the 24th version here. It downloaded as a dependency, and this resulted in an error because these two versions are not compatible, this version and with this mobile solution version. And now it just downloads the Cosmo factory data capture with the correct version, and afterwards the Cosmos mobile solution with the correct version. Though it's quicker and it's the correct version. Yeah. That's it regarding this change.
And apart from that, wishing you a nice afternoon, nice morning wherever you are, and see you next month, hopefully.